Hence, in a forgotten corner of the world, there lay a forest untouched by the hands of time. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, it, the forgotten forest, a place where shadows whispered secrets, and the trees held memories of ages long past. Few dared to venture into its depths, but the allure of the unknown proved too strong for a group of friends seeking an adventure. As they entered the forest, a heavy silence enveloped them, suffocating the sounds of the outside world. The air was thick with an inexplicable tension, and the sunlight struggled to pierce through the dense canopy overhead. Strange symbols etched into the bark of ancient trees guided their way, leading them further into the heart of the enigma. As the day wore on, the forest began to change. The once familiar path behind them seemed to vanish, swallowed by the ever-shifting shadows. Unease settled over the group, each step echoing with the weight of an unspoken fear. It was as though the very forest itself was alive, watching their every move. As night fell, an unnatural darkness descended. The moon's feeble attempts to cast light were thwarted by the twisted branches overhead. Whispers, too soft to decipher, surrounded them. The friends exchanged nervous glances, questioning the wisdom of their journey, but curiosity, that relentless companion, urged them onward. Strange luminescent eyes blinked in the periphery, and the group quickened their pace, haunted by the sensation of unseen entities observing them. Shapes flitted in the corners of their vision, and the air grew colder with every step. The forest seemed to have a life of its own, breathing and pulsating in rhythm with their beating hearts. The path twisted and turned, leading them deeper into the heart of the forgotten forest. The friends stumbled upon an ancient clearing where a gnarled tree stood like a sentinel, its roots weaving into the ground like skeletal fingers. The air in the clearing felt charged with an otherworldly energy. As they gazed at the ancient tree, the shadows coalesced into ghostly figures. Faces, lost to time, emerged from the darkness, their eyes pleading for release. The friends, frozen in terror, watched as the figures reached out, their ethereal fingers grazing the skin of the living. In that moment, the forest spoke, its voice a symphony of lost souls. The friends, unable to withstand the weight of the past, felt their sanity unraveling. Desperation etched across their faces. They sprinted through the twisting labyrinth, desperately seeking an escape. As they burst from the edge of the forest, gasping for breath, they dared not look back. The whispers of the forgotten forest lingered, carried by the wind that rustled through the trees. The friends, forever changed, carried the haunting echoes of that mysterious realm, a place where the line between the living and the lost blurred into an eternal enigma. Days turned to nights, and the friends struggled to shake off the spectral presence that clung to their every thought. Sleep became elusive, haunted by dreams of twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, and the distant, mournful whispers that echoed through the corridors of their minds. One by one, the friends began to notice peculiar changes within themselves, a distant gaze, as if they were searching for something beyond the visible horizon, an inexplicable urge to return to the forgotten forest, as though a piece of their souls had been left behind among the shadows. They reunited, driven by an unseen force, and found themselves standing at the edge of the very forest that had forever altered their lives. The gnarled sentinel tree stood before them, a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy. With trepidation, they ventured back into the heart of the enigma. The air was thick with the weight of memories, and the symbols on the trees seemed to pulsate with an ethereal glow. The luminescent eyes that had observed them before now regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and sorrow. As they reached the clearing, the ghostly figures emerged once more. This time, however, the friends felt a strange connection, a shared melancholy that bound them to the lost souls. The figures beckoned, their eyes imploring the living to understand the pain of eternal separation. In an act of desperation or surrender, the friends allowed the shadows to envelop them. The spectral fingers brushed against their skin, and the whispers grew louder, merging with the heartbeat of the forest. The boundary between the living and the lost blurred, until it was indistinguishable. As the last echoes of the haunting symphony faded away, the forgotten forest stood silent once more. The gnarled sentinel tree, now a monument to the intermingling of worlds, bore witness to the passing of time. The town outside the forest continued its existence, oblivious to the tragedy that had unfolded within the depths of the trees. The friends, or what remained of them, became a part of the ancient enigma, forever entwined with the shadows and the whispers that now danced on the wind. The forgotten forest retained its mystery, its secrets concealed within the shifting shadows and the luminescent eyes that watched over the eternal clearing. The townspeople continued to speak of it in hushed tones, unaware of the lost souls that lingered just beyond the visible world, a testament to the unfathomable depths of the enigmatic woods. In the heart of the forbidding forest, where sunlight struggled to the dense canopy, there lay a secret, whispered only among the locals, a forgotten village said to be cursed. The village, veiled in shadows and shrouded in mystery, beckoned to the curious and the brave. A group of friends, enticed by the allure of the unknown, set out on a journey to find this ancient settlement, oblivious to the horrors that awaited them. The forest, thick with an oppressive silence, swallowed their laughter as they ventured deeper into its depths. An unsettling feeling lingered in the air, as if the very trees harbored secrets that refused to be forgotten. Undeterred, the friends pressed on, guided by tales of an ancient village, said to hold the key to untold treasures and forgotten history. As they approached the village, an eerie stillness settled over the forest. The village emerged from the shadows, its dilapidated structures standing like silent sentinels to a bygone era. The air was heavy with a sense of abandonment, and an unsettling quiet dropped over the cobblestone paths. As they explored, the friends discovered decaying remnants of life, forgotten belongings left behind in haste, doors creaking on rusty hinges, and a chilling wind that seemed to whisper ancient laments. The village, once vibrant with the laughter of children and the hum of daily life, now bore witness to the ravages of time and an unspoken tragedy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets, the friends felt an invisible weight settling over them. A cold wind whispered through the abandoned buildings, carrying with it a mournful melody that seemed to echo the anguish of the past. It wasn't long before strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispers echoed through the abandoned houses, and unseen footsteps trailed behind the friends as they navigated the labyrinthine streets. Shadows danced on the periphery of their vision, and the air became charged with a malevolent energy that clung to their skin like a shroud. Their once bold explorations turned into a tense unraveling of fear as the village unveiled its cursed secrets. Doors slammed shut on their own, and flickering lanterns cast grotesque shadows on the decaying walls. It became apparent that they were not alone in this forsaken place, and the past of the village had awakened with a thirst for revenge. One by one, the friends began to witness apparitions, ghostly figures that moved with purpose, their eyes filled with the anguish of unfinished business. Whispers turned into anguished cries, and the air crackled with the energy of a vengeful force. As the night wore on, the village's past manifested itself with increasing malevolence. Apparitions grew bolder, reaching out to the living with ethereal hands, their touch sending shivers down spines. The friends, gripped by terror, realized that the curse of the village was not content with remaining buried in the annals of history. In a desperate bid to escape the clutches of the malevolent spirits, the friends retraced their steps through the winding streets. But the village, it seemed, had become a living entity, its cobblestone paths shifting and distorting, trapping them within its haunted embrace. The apparitions, once tormented souls, now sought retribution. As the friends huddled together in a dilapidated town square, the ghosts materialized with a spectral fury. Their faces contorted with pain, they reached out to the living, their cries a cacophony of despair. As the first rays of dawn crept over the horizon, the village's curse reached its climax. The friends, paralyzed by fear, felt the weight of the past bear down upon them. The apparitions, fading into the ethereal light, left behind a silence that echoed with the finality of their vengeance. The forest, once a silent witness to the unfolding horror, resumed its tranquility. The abandoned village, its cursed secrets laid bare, faded back into the shadows. The friends, forever changed by their harrowing encounter with the past, stumbled out of the forest, their minds haunted by the chilling whispers that lingered in the air, a reminder that some stories are best left untold and some curses are not meant to be unraveled. The quaint town of Ravenswood welcomed its newest residents, the Thompson family, who sought solace in a secluded house surrounded by a dense, ancient forest. The towering trees formed a protective barrier, hiding the mysteries within their shadows. Little did the Thompsons know that their new haven held a secret, a malevolent force hungry for communication that would slowly unravel their sense of safety. As the sun dipped below the horizon on their first night, a haunting quiet settled over the house. It wasn't long before the family, huddled together in their cozy living room, heard the first faint whispers. At first, they dismissed them as the rustling of leaves or the distant of nocturnal creatures. Yet, as the night deepened, the whispers grew more distinct, morphing into ethereal voices that seemed to emerge from the very heart of the forest. Days turned into nights, and the voices persisted. Soft murmurs at first, gentle as a breeze, inviting the family to listen closely. The Thompsons gathered around the dinner table, exchanged uneasy glances as the voices played tricks on their senses. Each night, the whispers became more insistent, the more distinct, and the family's unease intensified. The forest seemed to come alive with an otherworldly energy as the moon cast an eerie glow on the ancient trees. The voices, no longer mere whispers, now echoed through the air, weaving an unsettling melody that danced on the edge of comprehension. The family, gripped by a mixture of fear and curiosity, ventured out into the night to discover the source of the haunting. Guided by the ethereal voices, they found themselves deep within the heart of the forest, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to close in around them. The air vibrated with an unseen force, and the voices grew louder, their tones shifting from melodic whispers to guttural murmurs that resonated in the very marrow of their bones. In the moonlit clearing, the family discovered an ancient gnarled tree, a silent witness to centuries of secrets. As they approached, the voices intensified, revealing a chorus of spectral figures that swayed in the shadows. Eyes filled with a hunger for connection stared at the family from the darkness. It became clear that the forest harbored entities hungry for the warmth of human interaction. As the family recoiled in fear, the spectral figures reached out, their translucent fingers brushing against the living. The air became charged with an electric energy, and the family felt a palpable connection with the other worldly presences that surrounded them. Days turned into nights, and the once hospitable forest revealed its sinister intentions. The voices, once a distant murmur, now clamored for attention, demanding to be heard. The family, entrapped in the forest's web, struggled to maintain their sanity as the relentless their every waking moment. In their desperation to escape the haunting voices, the family sought help from the townspeople. But the residents of Ravenswood merely exchanged knowing glances, revealing a shared history with the malevolent force that lurked in the forest. The Thompsons realized that they were not the first to fall to the forest's insatiable hunger for communication. As the family grappled with the relentless voices, the forest's malevolence reached its zenith. The whispers transformed into agonized wails, and the spectral figures manifested with increasing ferocity. The Thompsons, unable to escape the clutches of the haunting voices, felt their minds unraveling, their sanity slipping away like sand through clenched fists. In the end, the family became one with the voices that echoed through the whispering grove. Their anguished cries joined the spectral chorus, a haunting reminder that the forest hungered not only for communication, but also for the souls of those who dared to listen. The house, now abandoned, stood as a silent sentinel, bearing witness to the sinister forces that lurked in the heart of the ancient trees, a warning to any who dared to seek refuge in the haunted embrace of the Whispering Grove.